Many of you may know who Jacques Plante is. For those of you who don't, Jacques Plante is the first person to ever wear a goalie mask in a National Hockey League game. By doing this, he changed the dress code for the National Hockey League for the foreseeable future. My name is Luke Stoudeker, and I'm here to talk to you all today and hopefully persuade you to why dress code should be more casual in the workplace. Dress code should be more casual in the workplace because this is a change that's already happening. There's also a positive impact of making employees happier, and happier employees tend to be more productive. And finally, you could be limiting your business's opportunity to hire certain individuals as well as keep current employees if your dress code is too restrictive. As someone who works in a non-customer facing role, I hope to open your minds to a world with less restrictive dress codes. First, I'll be discussing the status quo of dress codes in the workplace. So, as I'm sure many of you have noticed, dress codes are becoming more and more casual over time. And it's extremely important that we adapt as businesses in this changing world. According to James F. Peltz from the Los Angeles Times on June 16th of 2016, office dress codes are getting more relaxed, spurred by part by the influx of millennials in the workplace. One example of this comes from Kerry Cooper's article in the BBC in 2017, where he cited that Starbucks has already relaxed its laid-back dress policy. So we've seen that adaptable businesses are able to change with the times, and since the times are changing, I ask of each of you, why be resistant to this change? If it's already happening, why be resistant? Now, through my research, a couple of scenarios where I found that this rule maybe does not apply is when there are issues of safety, or if you're in a customer-facing role. Safety issues, paramount. It's paramount that employees are safe and not hurting themselves, so if they need to wear steel-toe boots as a part of a uniform, that makes sense. And also when it comes to customer-facing roles, statistics do show that if you're, let's say, selling something, being in a suit and more professional attire can be beneficial to your situation. So now we've discussed how dress codes are currently becoming more relaxed as is. Let's shift our focus to some of the positive impacts of having a less restrictive dress code. Less restrictive dress codes impact employees by employees' happiness, and we've also seen that happy employees tend to be more productive. According to Kerry Cooper's BBC article, Why Do Workplace Dress Codes Persist? 45% of the individuals surveyed said they'd be more productive if they were comfortable wearing clothes that they were comfortable working in. So now as humans, we have this expectation of fairness from our jobs. And according to Susan Snyder of the US News, some workers may view a company's dress code as out of touch or old school, and they may argue that they should be judged on the merit of their work, not how they dress. Since we can see that dress codes do impact employee happiness, I'd also like to share with you a quote from John Revicencio from July of 2015. A study by the economists at the University of Warwick School of Economics found that happiness in the workplace led to a 12% spike in productivity. So now that we understand some of the positive impacts of a less restrictive dress code in the workplace, I'd like to focus on some of the negative impacts of a too restrictive dress code. So stringent dress codes can impact a business negatively by limiting the potential for job candidates to apply, as well as also potentially creating issues of current employees leaving for a less restrictive dress code. So James Peltz's 2016 Los Angeles Times article also cited that over 60% of the workforce is millennials, and one of the very appealing things to a millennial is dress code. Mr. Peltz also told us that 58% of the individuals would prefer a casual or business casual dress code. So since employees find dress code to be important, if your dress code is too restrictive, you have open positions posted for people to apply to, outside candidates just may not choose to apply for your company, and you may miss out on talent if your dress code is too restrictive. So the second potential impact of having too restrictive of a dress code is that your current employees may choose to leave. From Kerry Cooper's 2017 BBC article, a study stated that 12% of respondents were considering leaving their job because of the current dress code. So today we have discussed and explored why dress code should become more casual. First, we took a look at the status quo. This change is already happening, so we must be adaptive to changes. Secondarily, we took a look at the positive impacts of happier employees with their dress code, and those happier employees tend to be more productive. And then finally, we also took a look at the negative impacts of too restrictive of a dress code, where you could potentially lose current employees or miss out on up-and-coming talent because they don't want to work for a company with too restrictive of a dress code. So I hope that each of you has learned why dress codes should be more casual. It benefits both the employees and the business. So I encourage each of you to take a look at your company's dress code policy and make any appropriate changes.